All right. Hey, everyone. I wanted to film this, the importance of inner work on growing your business. Now, this is pretty much a capture of what I wish someone had told me 4.5 years ago when I started my business. I think I would have made a lot more money and done a lot more quicker. So this is my secret to you. Now, when I talk about inner work, this is by no means a comprehensive review of like therapy, nor is it advising a specific type of work that you need to do. This is really just a summary of what I've been learning. So essentially, where I started, and potentially you're the same, because in Western culture, we see ourself as an entity, as like a singular individual self. I am myself, and someone else is their self, and we interact with each other. But what becomes mysterious is why am I maybe struggling in the ways that other people are not struggling? Why do I seem to face repeated difficulties? Why am I not able to charge more money? Why do I feel fear of selling? Why do I feel like making money is evil? Where do all these things come from? And how do I release myself of these things and actually grow a business? So, this is my summary for you. Essentially, it starts back in our family of origin, right? So, we're all complex family related creatures. Whatever your family looks like, it's very different to my family, it's different to everyone else's family. The reality is that we all grow in a relationship. And when we're really, really young, like before we're walking, before we're talking, we are just formed by what we receive. And those are loving as well as negative influences. And the reason for that is just that our family are human. You know, they have their own history and what was input into them from their parents, and then their parents from their parents, and so on and so forth. But the reality is that we grow up with voices of impatience or criticism telling us to be quiet, don't make a fuss, you know, don't stick your neck out, don't be arrogant. We're trained in a certain way, but also we're told that we're loved and we're special, that we, you know, I hear you, I see you, things like that. And depending on your family, it could have been much more negative, so really condemning language, and it could have been a lot more positive. But the reality is that these external voices become internal part of ourselves. Because if we remember, is that a small baby can't distinguish between what is other and what is themselves. It's just all the same. Their mother is them, their family is them, they are their family, and this is all forming who they are. Now, when we grow up, we become an adolescent and then we become an adult. Yes, we do form a sense of self, and we no longer see our mother as ourself or our father as ourself. However, it's still going on, it's just going on inside. So we're carrying all of this, it's just now inside of us. And so these complex relationships where the other is ourself and ourself is the other is still there. It's just much more internalized. What we find is we can have almost like these multiple personalities where we want to feel confident about something, but then we'll find ourselves so crushingly negative with ourselves, or we'll want to get so angry or like emotional about something, and then we'll be restraining ourselves and telling ourselves, no, you can't feel, you shouldn't be angry, that's what bad people do. And so we're constantly kind of in relationship with ourselves, and this is actually much more a reflection of our past self and the family and how we've carried that into our present. So how does this affect us in business? Right. So when we interact with others, obviously friendships, colleagues, romantic others, this is all being played out in their life as well. So this brings ultimate complexity where we're interacting with others who have their own stuff going on. And then inside of us is we have our stuff going on. If we zoom out and we look at the complexity of the world, there's just so much variety out there, right? It's almost like more than we can conceive. So we cannot conceive of billions and billions and billions of people, let alone their internal complex reality. So we tend to, in order to see the world, we simplify it, and we simplify it according to the lens of what we understand. Now that manifests itself in culture. So we tend to be attracted to people who are similar culture to us, who look the same as us, who are similar age to us, who understand the same cultural things. But it's also, we tend to attract people who are on a same emotional wavelength to us. And that's what's really interesting. And therapists and even manifestation teaching is talking about is like you're attracting certain people. And I've really struggled with that, particularly like thinking, okay, you can attract $1 million or you can attract these good things into your life. How do you attract it? Is it like I create this kind of magnetic force to attract to me? But this is how I understand it, is simply we cannot see beyond what we know. And so we tend to see the world through the lens of what's going on inside. So if we look objectively at the world, which is actually incredibly hard to do, there is every infinite possibility. There's people who are hateful towards us. There are people who are entirely indifferent towards us. There are people who would quite like us. There are people who would like massively look up to us. There are people who would be a little bit critical of us. And then there are people who will see our infinite highest value. But this is just too much information. We can't see everyone properly. And so what we find is we tend to see in the world that which we understand. And so that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the importance of inner work, because if something's going on in here that's really complex, as in I want to achieve something, but no, I shouldn't achieve it because I'm not really worth it, but you shouldn't really put your neck out. Good people don't make money. And like a lot of this internal world, if we're kind of trying something, but then we're battling against ourselves, actually, this creates a lot of energy on ourselves. We actually are quite self-absorbed, to be honest. We're kind of battling internally. It means we have limited bandwidth to see objectively the world before us and every infinite possibility out there. And we tend to see the people who are similar to us, and then we're kind of attracting those situations. So this is where we find that we repeat problems at work, or we repeat friendships that are a little bit off, or we repeat romantic cycles that are a bit negative. But definitely in business, we find ourselves just hitting a level and we can't seem to get beyond it. And it's just simply because we cannot see the possibility of something else. So if we are able to catch ourselves in that process and go, what is going on inside of me that just feels so me, it just feels invisible. It's not even something I even notice because it's just my natural world. It's just the way I think and it's the way I intuit. And then we can pause and go, actually, this is something complex. This is something that I've taken from my past and I've brought into my adult self. But this can be changed, right? And what I can do is do the inner work and harmonize a relationship within myself, which is much more conducive to me, A, being at peace at home in myself, and then also being able to see the world. So within all of us, right, is something called our infinite highest value. Now, unless we are able to feel loved, special, heard, and seen, and unless we are able to put to bed, put to rest some of the voices that tell us, we should be quiet, we should make a fuss, we shouldn't try things, good people don't do that. If we're able to actually harmonize within ourselves that we're of value, that we're special, we have plenty of intuition, we have amazing gifts, the world would be grateful to know us. If we have kind of a harmonized internal self, we can start to begin to see our highest infinite value. And then if we're able to see it, it gives us peace at home. So we're less kind of self-absorbed, so to speak, of like trying to like feel encouraged, but feel discouraged, but feel kind of critical of ourselves, but feel a bit paranoid about the world. We've actually just got more energy because we're just a bit more at peace. And then because we have more energy, we can actually begin to see the world a bit more objectively. We can see the bad people. We can see the people who are a little bit disapproving of us. We can see the people who would admire us. We can see the people who would kind of really look up to us. And then we can see the people out there who understand our infinite highest value. And this is where it gets really powerful, because if we can see it here, we can start to see that out there are people that see it as well. So this is the key part of like really, really understanding the inner work and its role in business. Now, The other thing I would say is a lot of self-help and inner work stuff relies, particularly in the business space, on vision boards, goals, and CBT, which is very up here in our prefrontal cortex. It's seeing things, it's setting goals, and then it's maybe telling ourselves some things around, I believe that I'm a great person. Da, da, da. The problem with that is it's very much in our kind of rational higher brain. And a lot of what forms us is before we're even walking and talking. So it's very much in our memory, it's in our intuition, it's in our emotions, it's in the back part of our brain, and it's stored in our body. And so a lot of the inner work actually goes far deeper, and it's related to somatic work or body work. Sometimes it's related to healing our emotions, feeling things, triggers, things that kind of bring up something for us and make us feel incredibly uncomfortable, and just sitting with discomfort, sitting with uncomfortable feelings and soothing ourselves into a sense of value and love. It's really like regressing to very early infancy and just being a young child who's being soothed. It's quite mysterious, but it's also incredibly powerful, because once we can kind of self-soothe and self-care in that way, in a really deep way, we can get back in touch with our intuition. We can get back in touch with our inner sight, with our sense of the world, the way that we see other people, the way that we intuit things, and we can start to get back in touch with our infinite highest value. And once we're in touch with that, then we can start to even see the possibility of that in the world. The final thing I would say is the formula for growing a business, there's a few ingredients, right? So you need a demand. So you need people that want your service or need your service. If there's competitors, which is often a good thing, you want competitors, you need to differentiate from your competitors. So you need to be specialized in some way. And if you're specialized, you can usually charge more, or you specialize by being cheaper, but being a much more convenience option, or you just have features and things that just make you different to others, that they would choose you, right? But there is one ingredient that will beat the pants off every other factor in your business, and it's called the hungry market. If there is a hungry market, it doesn't matter your price, it doesn't matter your features, it doesn't matter if you're better than other people or not. People will swoop in and gobble up everything that you have. And so in business, you want to be targeting a hungry market, and then you want to, as much as you can, focus on the premium end of a hungry market. These two things together will really set you apart in business. And so this is why doing the inner work is so important, because if you haven't done the inner work, you're so internally working on even just your own confidence that you cannot see the world. The way you see the world is filtering through your lens, and you're going to be stuck at a certain level, talking to other people that make sense to you. And often those people are at a limited level themselves, because you're at a limited level and you can't even see any difference. The second thing is, because you want to see the hungry market, you want to see objectively the market, you also want to then see the premium end of that market. You can only reach the premium end of the market when you understand your infinite highest value. So you know how you uniquely are able to solve a problem for a very hungry market. And where that nexus comes together, you can solve a problem uniquely for a hungry market. It sets you apart from everyone else. You can charge premium prices, and they'll gobble you up and they'll pay you a lot of money. And that, my friends, is how inner work will make you a lot of money and help you grow an amazing business. Thanks for watching.